Hello, MathTalino students! Welcome to our MathTalino tutorial. Sa video na ito, ang pag-aaralan natin ay tungkol sa scientific notation. Ano nga ba ang scientific notation? It is a method of writing very large or very small numbers so we can read and write them more easily. In this method, a number is expressed as a product of two factors. One is a number equal or greater than 1 but less than 10, and the other one is a power of 10. Para maintindihan ang definitions ng scientific notation, magbibigay tayo mamaya ng mga examples. So, paano nga ba isulat ang number into scientific notation? Meron tayong dalawang cases na dapat tandaan. Unang case, if a number is greater than 1, ano ang ating mga gagawin? First, move the decimal point to the left so that there is only one non-zero digit to its left. Second, multiply the result by a power of 10 whose exponent is based on the number of places the decimal point is moved. I-apply natin ang mga steps na ito sa ating dalawang examples. First, we have 250 million. Alam natin na kapag whole number, ang decimal point niya ay laging makikita sa right side ng ating ones digit. Next na gagawin natin, i-move lang natin ang ating decimal point papunta sa left side para isang non-zero digit na lamang ang matitira sa left side ng ating decimal point. Simulan na nating i-move ang ating decimal point. At hanggang dyan na lang natin i-move ang ating decimal point kasi meron na lang isang non-zero digit to the left side of our decimal point. That is the digit 2. At ngayon, isusulat na natin siya in scientific notation. So we have 2.5. I-ignore natin ang mga zeros to the right side of our decimal point. Then we multiply it to a power of 10. At yung exponent ng ating power of 10 ay nakadepende kung ilang decimal places natin na move ang ating decimal point. So kung babalikan natin, hanggang sa 8 decimal places natin na move ang ating decimal point. So therefore, our exponent should be equal to 8. And this is now the scientific notation of 250 million. Sa ating pangalawang example, we have 3 trillions. Again, the decimal point of this whole number can be found at the right side of the ones digit. Kapareho ng ating ginawa sa example number 1, i-move na natin ang ating decimal point. At hanggang dyan na lang natin dapat i-move ang ating decimal point kasi meron na lang isang non-zero digit to the left side of our decimal point. And that is the digit 3. Therefore, we can now write it in scientific notation. So we can ignore the zeros. So we just write 3. Then we multiply it to the power of 10. At ang exponent ng ating 10 ay 12. Kasi, 12 beses natin na-move ang ating decimal point. Therefore, this is now the scientific notation of 3 trillions. Punta na tayo sa ating pangalawang case. If a number is less than 1, ito yung mga gagawin natin. move the decimal point, this time to the right, so that there is only one non-zero digit to its left. Second, multiply the result by a power of 10 whose exponent is based on the number of places the decimal point is moved. But this time, it should be negative. I-apply natin ang mga steps na ito sa ating dalawang examples. Sa unang example, kapareho ng ginawa natin, i-move lang natin ang decimal point. So we have at hanggang dyan na lang natin dapat i-move ang ating decimal point kasi meron na tayong isang non-zero digit to the left side of our decimal point. And that is the digit 2. So we can now write it in scientific notation. We have 2.1 times 10 raised to the power of negative 7. Kasi ikapitong beses natin na move ang ating decimal point to the right side. At laging tandaan na kapag ang given natin ay less than 1, negative ang ating magiging exponent sa power of 10. For our second example, from our original position of the decimal point, we now move and again, hanggang dyan na lang natin dapat i-move ang ating decimal point kasi meron na tayong isang non-zero digit to the left of our decimal point. And that is our digit 2. We now write it in scientific notation. We have 2.15 times 10 raised to the power of negative 10. And this is the scientific notation of our given number. What about if our given is in scientific notation? How do we write it in standard form? Say for instance, we have the following examples. Number 1, 3 times 10 raised to the power of 8. To transform this one in standard form, unang gagawin natin, kopyahin lang natin ang first factor, which is 3. At alam natin na ang decimal point ay makikita sa may right side. Then, we move this decimal point to the right ng 8 beses. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ibig sabihin, andito na ang ating decimal point. At lalagyan lang natin ng zeros ang mga missing place values. Therefore, 3 times 10 raised to the power of 8 is equal to 300 million. For our second example, again, kukopyahin na natin ang ating first factor, which is 5.87. At imumove lang natin ang ating decimal point ng 4 na beses going to the right side. Dahil ang exponent ng ating factor na 10 ay equal to positive 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. At nandito na ang ating decimal point. Lagyan lang natin ng zeros ang ating missing place values. Therefore, 5.87 times 10 raised to the power of 4 is equal to this number. And in our last example, sa uulitin, kopyahin lang natin ang ating first factor na 2.7. And since the exponent of our power of 10 is negative 7, we move the decimal point going to the left side 7 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At andito ng ating decimal point. Lagyan na natin ng zeros ang ating mga missing place values. Therefore, 2.7 times 10 raised to the power of negative 7 is equal to this number. Alright. Now, the question is, how do we add or subtract numbers in scientific notation? Always remember that we can only add or subtract in scientific notation if they are expressed in terms of the same power of 10. Ibig sabihin, hindi pwede nating directly i-add ang dalawang scientific notations kapag ang ating power of 10 ay magkaiba ang exponent. Let's have the following examples. Perform the following operations. In number 1, if we can observe, ang exponent ng ating power of 10 ay magkapareho. So, pwede na nating i-add directly ang ating dalawang scientific notations. To add them, ang gagawin lang natin ay i-add lang natin ang ating mga first factors na 3 at 4.1. At saka kopyahin ang ating power of 10. So, we have 3 plus 4.1, then multiplied to 10 raised to the power of 4. 3 plus 4.1 is equal to 7.1. At kokopyahin lang natin ang 10 raised to the power of 4. Therefore, this is already our final answer. For the second example, we subtract the two scientific notations. Meron tayong same exponent sa ating power of 10. So, we can now directly subtract these two scientific notations. So, ang gagawin lang natin, isa-subtract natin ang ating first factors na 5.1 at 2.5. We will have 5.1 minus 2.5. Then, kokopyahin lang natin ang 10 raised to the power of negative 5. Now, 5.1 minus 2.5 is equal to 2.6. Then, we just copy again 10 raised to the power of negative 5. At ito na nga ang ating final answer. Paano naman if ang ating power of 10 ay hindi magkapareho ang exponent? Say for example, 8 times 10 raised to the power of 5 plus 7 times 10 raised to the power of 4. Ang gagawin natin, pwede tayong mag-move ng decimal point sa ating scientific notation na 7 times 10 raised to the power of 4 para madagdagan ng 1 ang ating exponent na 4. So, para mangyari ito, kailangan nating i-move ang ating decimal point to the left side. Therefore, we have now 8 times 10 raised to the power of 5 plus 0.7 times 10 raised to the power of 5. At since pareho na ang kanilang exponent ng powers of 10, we can now add them together. We have 8 plus 0.7. Then we copy 10 raised to the power of 5. And 8 plus 0.7 is equal to 8.7. Then again we copy 10 raised to the power of 5. We can have another solution for this one. Pwede naman nating i-adjust ang exponent sa ating scientific notation na 8 times 10 raised to the power of 5. Babawasan lang natin ng 1 ang exponent na to. At para mangyari yan, kailangan nating i-move ang ating decimal point going to the right side. So we have 1. Maglagay lang tayo ng 0. We have now 80 times 10 raised to the power of 4 plus 7 times 10 raised to the power of 4. We can now add 80 plus 7 times 10 raised to the power of 4. And we have 80 plus 7 is 87. We just copy 10 raised to the power of 4. However, this is not yet in scientific notation form. We just move the decimal point 1 unit to the left. At since nag-move tayo ng isang decimal point going to the left side, mag-add lang tayo ng 1 sa ating exponent. Therefore, our final answer would be 8.7 times 10 raised to the power of 5. For our second example, hindi magkapareho ang exponent ng kanilang powers of 10. Pwede tayong mag-move ng decimal point sa 2.5 times 10 raised to the power of 6. Kailangan lang natin bawasan ng isa ang exponent. Para mangyari ito, kailangan nating i-move ang ating decimal point going to the right side. We will now have 25 times 10 raised to the power of 5 minus 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5. Pwede na tayo mag-subtract. 25 minus 3. Then we just copy times 10 raised to the power of 5. 25 minus 3 is equal to 22. Then copy times 10 raised to the power of 5. This is not yet in scientific notation form. We need to move the decimal point 1 unit going to the left side. And since we have moved 1 unit to the left side, we have to add 1 to our exponent. Hence, our final answer should be 2.2 times 10 raised to the power of 6. Another way to solve this one is, we move the decimal point in 3 times 10 raised to the power of 5. Kailangan nating dagdagan ng 1 ang exponent. At para mangyari ito, we have to move the decimal point 1 unit to the left side. We will have 2.5 times 10 raised to the power of 6 minus 0.3 times 10 raised to the power of 6. Then we subtract. 2.5 minus 0.3, we just copy 10 raised to the power of 6. And 2.5 minus 0.3 is equal to 2.2. Again, we just copy 10 raised to the power of 6. And that is our final answer. Okay? So let us now know how to multiply or divide numbers in scientific notation. We follow the following rules. To multiply numbers in scientific notation, simply multiply the first two factors, then copy the factor power of 10 and add their exponents. For example, perform the following operations. In number 1, we can directly multiply 4 and 8. So we have 4 times 8. Then, we copy the power of 10 and we add the exponents 4 and 3. So this would be equal to 32 times 10 raised to the power of 7. Again, this is not yet in scientific notation. So we move the decimal point 1 unit going to the left side. Since we have moved 1 unit to the left side, we add 1 to our exponent. This is now equal to 3.2 times 10 raised to the power of 8. And for our second example, we multiply 2.1 and 4. We have 2.1 times 4. Then we just copy the power of 10 and add the exponents negative 7 and 4. 2.1 times 4 is equal to 8.4. Then, we add the exponents negative 7 plus 4, that is equal to negative 3. And this is now our final answer. 8.4 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Now, what about if we divide? To divide numbers in scientific notation, simply divide the first two factors. Then, we copy the factor power of 10 and subtract their exponents. In multiplication, we add the exponents. In division, we subtract the exponents. So let's have the following examples. In number 1, we divide 3.6 and 2. So we have 3.6 divided by 2. Then we copy the power of 10 and we subtract the exponents. 8 minus negative 5. Simplifying, 3.6 divided by 2 is 1.8. Then 8 minus negative 5 is equal to positive 13. And this is now our final answer, 1.8 times 10 raised to the power of 13. For example number 2, we divide 2 and 5. 2 divided by 5, then we copy the power of 10 and subtract the exponents negative 3 and 2. So, 2 divided by 5, that is equal to 0.4. And negative 3 minus 2 is equal to negative 5. However, this is not yet in scientific notation. We need to move the decimal point 1 unit to the right side. And since we have moved 1 unit to the right side, we have to subtract 1 from the exponent. Hence, the final answer must be 4 times 10 raised to the power of negative 6. At hanggang dyan na lang ang ating Math Talino tutorial. Sana ay may natutunan kayo. Salamat po sa pakikinig.